"Honored Master Archimus," he said, careful to keep his voice devoid of the confusion now rolling through his head. Of all the warriors of the Legion, there were many who held high honor. Lord Sigismund, Iapetus, Seneschal Rhan, but Archimus was one of the first. One of the 20 warriors who were raised to the Legion by the Primarch when he was reunited with the Emperor. With the death of Fleet Master Yonad in the early days of the war, Archimus was now the last of that brotherhood. For over a century and a half, Archimus had served. He had stood at Rogel Dawn's side for the Legion's greatest victories of the Great Crusade. One did not raise one's gaze to such a warrior without being asked to. He stopped next to Catafalque and nodded to the captain.
"Will he serve?" "He is my best. A little headstrong, but then you are used to that."
Out of the corner of his eye, Kestros saw his captain smile, the gesture as brief as a flash of lightning. Kestros blinked again.
"Enough time and you go to tolerate anything,"
said Archimus, his voice flat and humorless, and though he was not sure, he thought that the smile cut across Catafalque's face again.
"You have my thanks,"
continued Archimus.
"I hope he serves me as well as you did."
For the first time in his years of service, Kestros heard Captain Catafalque laugh.
"I hope he serves you better than that."
Catafalque gave a swift bow to Archimus and then glanced at Kestros.
"Bring us honor in wherever your duty takes you, brother,"
he said. Kestros bowed his head more deeply, but Catafalque had already turned and left the chamber.
"Rise, Sergeant,"
said Archimus, and Kestros stood. Archimus met his gaze.
"This is not about a stain on your honor, nor that of your company, nor is it about censure."
Kestros tried to read the old warrior's face, but could not. It was like trying to read the mood of a cliff from the shape of its cracks. He had a likeness of stone, like so many of the Legion. Kestros felt the question come to his lips before he could bite it off. "What is it about then, Lord?" Archimus gave Kestros a glance that might have held either calculation or amusement.
"Your Legion and Primarch have need of your service,"
said Archimus. Kestros felt the words yank the breath out of his lungs. Archimus half turned towards the door, the machinery of his arm and leg whirring in the quiet of the cell.
"Arm and armor yourself,"
Archimus said, and looked at the dark of the corridor beyond the cell door. A long second passed before he continued.
"You have questions, but the answers cannot be given here."
Archimus served as a captain of the Imperial Fifth Legion during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. Born with the birth name Kai during the 19th century of the 30th millennium, this son of the Inwit Empire originally ran with a gang in order to survive the harsh environs of his homeworld. Presented to Rogel Dawn shortly after his reunion with the Master of Mankind, Kai refused to kneel before the Emperor of Inwit, biting his own palm in an act of defiance as he clenched his bloody fist. Explaining Kai to be marked as among the first recruits of his new legion taken by the Golden Host of the Emperor, Kai's homeworld now served at the whims of Dawn's father, as he himself set aside his mantle of ruler in deference to his sire. Stating that Dawn should have refused to serve the Emperor, Rogel saw within this stubborn youth an indomitable spirit as he showed him the vastness of the burgeoning Imperium, using lightcast representations and the duty to which he would now pledge. Surviving the trials of a Space Marine aspirant alongside his fellow initiates, Yonad and Archimus, slowly Kai lost the memory which gave credence to his defiance, yet such a lack did not diminish his resolve. Archimus perishing during their trials as a result of Kai's actions, fighting a group of combat servitors. Kai succeeded in his trials as a Space Marine as among the 20 Inwit-born men who would comprise the first successful candidates. Each wearing oaths to their Primarch as he held his clenched fist within a flaming brazier. Each of Rogel Dawn's sons did the same, never flinching from the pain nor showing a hint of weakness as their flesh charred. Kai assuming the oath name of his slain comrade as a sign of respect. Archimus II would in time become the most trusted captain of his liege and an invaluable advisor in the wars to come. Assigned as the captain of the Praetorians' Honor Guard, the Huskarls, for over a century and a half of warfare, his deeds would exceed even First Captain Sigismund as not only a warrior, but detail-oriented strategist. Disdainful of the Wordbearers Legion, even prior to their betrayal of the Imperium, this stoic disciple of Inwit would outlive all his honored peers as Fleet Master Yonad fell during the Battle of Val. Known henceforth as the Last of the First, Archimus made his final great sacrifice during the Solar War against the forces of the Alpha Legion. His tendency to pursue his suspicious nature gleaning great insight of the Hydra's plans during the erupting conflict of the Sol system. His chosen lieutenant, Kestros, aided his investigation of the Selenar gene cult of Luna and their Psyker, Andromeda 17. Deducing the Alpha Legion's plans to assault Pluto, Archimus fought by the side of Rogel Dawn as he faced the Lord of Serpents, Alpharius, in a vicious duel. Impaled by the Pale Spear, Archimus nonetheless refused to give in to his wounds, distracting the threefold serpent as Dawn delivered the killing blow with his chainsword, Storm's Teeth. Held within Dawn's arms as life drained from his body, despite stating that he had failed his gene-sire, the Vigilant assured him that his son had never erred in his duty, nor failed in his eyes. The Praetorian's Praetorian, passing from the mortal world, his successor, Kestros, assumed the title of Archimus III, now in charge of the Huskal Order, the burden which he would shoulder among the heaviest as he readied for the defense of the throne world itself.